remember a lot of people in my company have told me that you Indians are so hardworking, so talented. We really love having you there. But US always has been the number one destination when it comes to US right now is currently going through an acute teacher crisis. So they have a teacher shortage. So in India, unfortunately, evening ke baad people start working to show the boss that how hard I'm working and I'm sitting till late. In US, it is looked down upon. They feel the 8-10 hours that are assigned to you, they are not enough. And that's why you're sitting late. You can become a citizen of many countries, right?
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to yet another AMA with Vipul Bondal on the topic of business networking. Today, I have a very special friend and a very professional, if I may say, who I have invited. And I'll read his entire resume because I think it's very interesting what he does, not something that we encounter in our daily lives. So I think it's important we get to know more about Deepesh as I read out his profile. So Deepesh is an expert in international business. He did an MBA from Clark University, USA. Later, he worked for Clark University for a few years before he returned to India. Deepesh was invited by Harvard University for a special faculty development program at their campus at Boston. There, he was trained to teach Harvard case studies and simulations. Deepesh is an expert in international immigration and helps people to migrate to countries like USA, UK, Canada, Europe, Australia, etc. He has founded a company called D Square Global Private Limited with an intention to help families accomplish their migration goal. He creates customized solutions based on individual needs. That's interesting. So I'm going to ask him a little bit about that. And some of the offerings of D Square Global are migrate to the US on an EB5 US green card, citizenship by investment in the Caribbean countries, get cap exempt H1B work permit in the US, getting permanent residency by starting a business in Canada, UK, and migrate with family, invest in Greece, Portugal, or Cyprus and get permanent residency, set up companies in USA, Dubai, and Singapore, and expand your business, and counsel students who wish to study abroad. The reason I read all of these is because each one is different. I mean, I have had several conversations with Deepesh, so I have a fairly good idea, not as good as he does, of course, but fairly good idea that each one is different, and which is the reason I read out that entire list. And interestingly, Deepesh, and this is interesting from a business networking perspective. He is a very happening networker, if I may use the word. So he serves on the committee of the West India Council for the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. And he is also the vice chairman of the IBG, that is the India Business Group, which is a new age chamber of commerce. Welcome, Deepesh, to this podcast. And, there's a lot we have to talk today.
Thank you, Vipul. Thank you for having me here. I'm really, really honored.
Okay. So, when I first, mentioned your podcast to a lot of my friends and people, so first thing they asked is, what is immigration? Because people understand words like green card or PR, permanent residency. Then they've heard of those words. And, some people, of course, know a little bit more than that. Of course, people know about, students wanting to go abroad and study and then, figure out that eventually many of them don't come back or many of them do come back. So, but nobody knows the nitty-gritty like you do. So can you give us a little feel of what is immigration? And, if you were to say in plain English, what does it mean?
So an easier way of telling people what I don't do is you can tell people that you've seen the movie Donkey. That is what Deepesh doesn't do.
Okay, fine. So that's what you don't do. Yeah. That is not legal immigration. Because
absolutely. Right. So, but of course, the need is so high that people are crossing all limits and trying to get to various countries of their choices. But there are very, very interesting legal ways of getting to countries. So at times I really fail to understand why people go through all this. So anyway, let's not go there. But
right.
So the idea is that people who are living in India and they come to me that they want to go to US, they want to go to Canada or wherever. I'm doing it for 2 decades now. It's been like 20 years I'm doing this. So very rarely somebody has actually come and told me that, I want to go to US because I want to make more money. It's very rare. People come because they see an opportunity of spending quality life, a better life. And that is the main reason people come to me. Because see, imagine somebody who gets a EB5 green card, which is like almost $1 million investment. Somebody who has $1 million and he's going to US on that green card, he's not going there to make more money, right? So that's one thing I wanted to tell people, that most of the people who come to me, they want a better life, quality life, and that is why they are looking at migrating abroad.
So typically, what is the amount of investment that one needs to do to be able to make the best of immigration? So I know the answer is not straightforward. It would be depending on the category that they go in for. But if you can just give us a ballpark idea, of the various types of immigration that is there,
Sure.
and how one can avail of those things.
Certainly. See, so when I went to US to do an MBA, all right, that was like 100 years ago. And that was a different time where, everyone would go to US, study, do their masters, then get a work permit, which is the H-1B. So go there on F-1 visa, the student visa, then get an H-1B, which is the work permit, and then get a green card and settle there. So that was the norm in those days. Even today, people still feel that is the way to get to US, especially US, because that's the most asked for country when it comes to immigration. So I'll start with US. But today, the thing is that if you go on a student visa, there is almost no certainty that you'll be able to stay there. 80% people mostly are coming back because they are not able to get the work permit, which is the H-1B, which is a lottery-based visa. So they have 65,000 quota, or cap is what they call. So in the whole year, they give 65,000 H-1B visas. In the year 2024, this year, over 8 lakh people would have applied, and only 65,000 got the visa. So every year, March, they allow people to put their names in the lottery. In April first week, the draw happens, and 65,000 names get picked. Now, in that, I have a 20-year experience, and you have a 1-year experience. We are treated in the same way. All right. Yes, there is an additional lottery of 20,000 for people who have done masters in the US, but that's still 20,000, a small number, and lakhs of people are every year adding to that lot. So the takers are huge, but the number always has been very minuscule, which is 65,000, and that's one thing US has managed to stick to for so many years, that they have not increased the quota because they don't want to create unemployment issues and stuff like that. So a lot of people say, oh, US is such a big country, why have they not increased the quota? They are not increasing so that they make sure that there is no problem with their local employment and stuff like that. So when it comes to price points, people typically, when people go there to study, they spend easily between $50,000 and $100,000. In Indian rupees, if we talk about 40-50 lakh to 1 crore rupees approximately. Because 2 years they will do their masters, and then they cannot do full-time job, so they need living expense, which is 10-15,000 easily per year. So another 2 years is $30,000. So you're looking at easily $120,000 for an average master. If you're going to a Harvard or a MIT, I mean, just multiply that by a few times. After putting so much money, if there is no guarantee that they can stay there, then a lot of people get disappointed. And the disappointment is not because they can stay there. The disappointment is because when they come back, the kind of loan that they have taken and the parents have taken, so the education loan is always against property, against a home. And I've had students who said, my parents' home is about to get sold because there's not a visa that I'm getting, the H-1B. And I'm ready to go back to India, but get 20-25,000 starting salary. Just because you have a US degree doesn't mean the Indian companies will give you a huge salary, right? So with that kind of salary, you can't even take care of the interest of the loan that you've taken for studies. So that becomes a sad part. So if people are willing to spend between 50 lakh and 1 crore on education without the certainty of being able to live a life there, then I have some interesting solutions where they can still go and they don't have to study. And again, 9 out of 10 students, when you ask them bluntly that do you really want to study or you want to settle there, what do you think they must be saying? Yeah. So price point can be between $25,000 to $1 million, right? $1 million. So US has a very interesting green card program called the EB5. Under this program, you invest $800,000 in a rural area or in certain areas where $800,000 you invest, 100,000 approximately is additional fees and stuff like that. So 900,000 is what you need. In 1.5 to 2 years, your entire family gets a green card. When I say entire family, it's husband, wife, and all children under 21, unmarried children. All right. So they give the green card. And a lot of people say, oh, US needs money. That's why they are giving green card. Not at all. Because after 4 to 5 years, they're going to give the money back to you. So it's not that you're buying the green card. It's all about creating 10 American jobs. So each investor who invests $800,000 has to create 10 American jobs. Now, you don't have to worry about creating these jobs. That's where experts like me come into play, and I'll make sure those jobs are created. But the idea behind US giving this green card is that because of your investment, 10 families are able to eat food, put food on the table, or have roof over their head. And that's why we are welcoming one family with a green card. So for this, the investment is $900,000, out of which $800,000 you're going to get back. A lot of times people don't realize that. They say, oh, I don't have this kind of money sitting in my account. Not too many people might have this kind of money sitting in their account, but I've done this green card for a lot of people who belong to the middle class or upper middle class families. So they figure, you can take loans, you can take loan against property, you can take a hand loan from anybody, your parents can give, even your neighbor can give you money, right? So it's not that the money has to come only from one source. As long as you can show how you got the money to the US government, they are happy to take any kind of money. A lot of times people get stuck at certain level. So I also chip in from my end that I have some interesting relationships there. And up to $300,000, I can actually get you a collateral-free loan in US. So that becomes suddenly, much doable, much easier, because instead of 800, you have to worry about $500,000. So that's the higher price point, but that's the guaranteed way of getting a green card, where they don't look at your education, they don't look at your, all these things. It's about creating those 10 American jobs. And of course, on the other side, there are H-1Bs, which I help people without the lottery. So that is something I do very interesting. And so that's why people really like. So this was all about US, Vipul. So I don't want to keep, there are so many other countries that I can help people. But unfortunately, right now, because Canada, Australia, UK, they are struggling. They are not giving PR very easily, or people who already are there are wanting to get out of those countries, and I'm helping them get to US. So though I can help people get these kind of PRs, but currently I don't think it is the right time to get to these countries.
Currently, you're saying it's not the right time to go to UK or Canada.
Australia has closed most of their PR programs anyway. Like they have investment based on a couple of more. Canada still has a lot of programs open, but there are too many people. So the points they have raised so high that it's almost impossible for most of the Indians to get to those points.
So my question to you here is, what kind of professionals are looking at entering, typically? So you said you need to go there and start a business that can then provide at least 10 jobs in the US, right?
No, I didn't say that. I'll take care of those 10 jobs. You don't have to start a business. So that's one alternative of EB5, where you can actually invest this money in your own business and set up a company, but it's very complicated. It's not easy to get a green card. There are a lot of chances that you might not get a green card. So I'm talking of, let's say, a real estate project, which is worth $200 million. We bring 100 people together. Everyone puts in 800 in a basket, company, of course. And now it's $80 million. We give this $80 million as a loan to the developer who's going to do a $200 million project. And the developer will give collateral of the constructed property. So we are safe, our money is safe. That's how we get the green card. So the construction jobs that are being created get counted when it comes to the EB5 green card. So you don't have to worry about giving 1, 2, 3, 5 people jobs, because hundreds and thousands of jobs get created when a big project is getting constructed. So that is what they do. And then the developer will sell the property to whatever. When he gets the funds, 4 to 5 years, you get your money back. If you set up your own business, first thing, you can't get your money back because the money is invested. Second thing, next 3-4 years or whatever time, you need to make sure you have created minimum 10 American jobs. There are so many other conditions that you have to meet. It's not easy to get a self-EB5, that's what it's called. It's always easier and recommended to do a regional center-based EB5, where the regional center is a government authorized body which will take care of all these things. And I closely monitor the entire working.
In your experience, which are the countries where typically you find Indians going for? And because when I read your list of countries, there were a whole host of countries where you can help them immigrate.
I was saying I'll have to look for a country where Indians don't go. Right? So there's nothing like that. I mean, they are all over, and we are very enterprising, very hardworking. So countries welcome us with both the arms. When I used to work in the US, when I had a job, I remember a lot of people in my company have told me that you Indians are so hardworking, so talented. Like we really love having you guys. I mean, such nice words I have heard. So yes, Indians, I think, go all over. But US always has been the number one destination when it comes to migrating with the family. And of course, because US seems difficult, a lot of people then opt for other countries. One very interesting company that has recently opened up is UAE. So Dubai has become a very, very hot destination for people from India. Because see, the locals most of the time they don't want to work because they're chilling, their happy lives and stuff like that. So they want people from outside to work. And majority people who are expats in UAE or especially in Dubai are from India. So right from a CEO to the sales manager, and the whole gamut in between, they are from India and they're very happy to have Indians work in that country or do business. I have a company in Dubai, and that really, I mean, it's really easy to run a business there and to set up a company. And it's very, very friendly when it comes to doing business or doing job. So Dubai also is a very interesting option for people who want to get out of India in search of a better life. So yes, so Dubai has a lot of things to offer.
The other question I had was in terms of somebody wanting to go there because there's a lot of interest, and I know a lot of people take chances, and that not everybody is blessed to have a friend like you. So they end up taking the wrong decision. I mean, I
Right.
know people who actually done that. So typically, what would your advice be that how much resources should someone have before they even think of taking this decision to migrate? And
Okay.
secondly, from a disadvantage perspective, so what are some of the disadvantages that are there, or things to look for, to be careful about, when planning for something like this?
So education-wise, frankly, most of the countries want minimum bachelor's degree. All right. So somebody who does not have a bachelor's degree can have challenges. Now, earlier, Dubai would not even ask for degree for work permit and stuff like that. It was very, very easy. Now, they've started introducing new laws of immigration, and they're also increasing the difficulty level because a lot of people have started looking at UAE as a destination. Right. So now, for processing a work permit, you also need to submit a degree, and which was not the case a year ago as well. When it comes to US, they want a US equivalency certificate, which means it has to be a US equivalent bachelor's degree. Now, what that means? The US has education system of 12 plus 4 for bachelor's, right? India has engineering 12 plus 4, but when it comes to BCom, BSc, BBA, it's 12 plus 3. And if you've done honors, which is again a very decent thing, then you might get 12 plus 4, but otherwise, most of us are 12 plus 3 if you have done BCom. But let's say you've done BCom or a BA from Mumbai University and you've scored certain percentage, high percentage, then there are these third-party agencies which do your transcript evaluation. One, they will check whether your degree is genuine or fake. And second, they will compare the education that you have had to a US equivalence. And they are authorized to convert your degree to a US equivalent bachelor's 12 plus 4. So though you have studied 12 plus 3, they can convert it, and in their certificate, they'll say this is equivalent to a US bachelor's 12 plus 4. But let's say you passed with near 40-45%. Yes, you have a degree, but you've not done very well. In that case, the same body might say this is equivalent to a US bachelor's 12 plus 3. So you need to do one more year of education. Now, in that, what happens? Let's say you've done an MBA from somewhere in India, then that will get added and that master. So that conversion has to be done by a third party, and there are certain organizations that are accepted by US government. USCIS has to accept those certificates, right? So yes, bachelor's degree is something that you should definitely look at. If you have masters, nothing like it, because then most of the countries, locals don't study a lot. We Indians, we go there with masters and PhD, and that's how we shine. But even in US, a lot of local people, they like Americans, they don't have master's degree. I mean, they don't even have bachelor's degree in the US. So that's the reason we Indians shine so well.
So do you also provide this advice when you talk to a lot of your customers in terms of when they want to migrate, or they're looking at settling in the US? A lot of people are very clear they want to settle in the US. They're done with India, or things like that,
Correct.
or they feel that their talent would be much more recognized, and economically will be better off in the US. But do you kind of help them with these services at this stage?
Yes, absolutely. Because, so see, we provide a complete solution end to end. So when somebody comes to us, we make sure that they go through all the right stages and make sure that they reach there. So, and okay, so one correction, though I said yes, predominantly you need a bachelor's degree, but the EB5 program of US, for example, okay, you don't have to have any education, even if you are junior KG fail. They will give you the green card, because it's nothing to do with the education. It's about creating 10 American jobs, right? So yes, so there are some programs where education might not be necessary, but they are typically the investment-based routes. But otherwise, if you're looking at H1B, or which is the work permit, or work visas all over the world, minimum bachelor. Without that, why would they want a foreign national to come in their country who has not studied, who doesn't have enough experience? They don't want us to, go and experiment there, right? So they want talent, and that's what they are giving us the visa for.
So now, what about countries like Australia, New Zealand? A lot of Indians go there, and then they of course go there for a couple of years. They'll see whether they like it or not. Some of them, of course, come back. Some of them continue. So, is there a different process for this, or is it a similar process in terms of what needs to be done?
So every country has a different process, right? So Australia, Canada, they have those points-based system, but Australia is not giving PR based on the points anymore. So the points were always based on your education, your work experience, what have you done in life, your English language proficiency, the IELTS exam, how much you've scored, give you certain points, and based on that you get PR. But Australia, I think, just gave PR to too many people. So for now, they are not giving PR very happily to people. So these are countries. So again, Australia is a big country, right? But if you see, 80% is all desert in between, so you can't even live there. So all the cities are right on the coastal area. So though in a big country, they don't have a big appetite for a large workforce, right? So they have done a smart thing by stopping or pausing most of the immigration programs. So they don't want clutter. So currently, not too many people are going to Australia. New Zealand is very chill. I know people who have gone to New Zealand, but in the last 20 years, I have not got even 20 people asking for going to New Zealand personally.
Australia,
so of course, some people go, but it's very chilled, and it's like Goa. I like Goa for a week, but if I have to stay there for 2 months, I don't think I'm. But every country has different laws, and we have to. And as experts, we know these different laws, and we have to keep updated ourselves with what new law, what new change has come, and so on.
Okay, so we've spoken about all the good things so far. I mean, what can happen, and what are the. So, can you tell us a few things that are not so good? I mean, things that one needs to watch for, things that are not so favorable. I know that one, for example, they are actually not looking at our side of the world too favorably in terms of allowing us to settle there for too long. I mean, they don't mind going for a few months here and there, but if you were to go there on a permanent basis, seems to be some sort of pressure on them to minimize the number of people who go from here. So
Sure.
what are some of the things that people should do in order to make sure that they don't trip themselves when they actually land in those countries?
So yes, there can be flip side in almost every country, and a lot of times when people go to these countries, they have no idea. It's like, they've jumped in the pool, they've just read about what is swimming, and now unless you jump in the pool, you'll never learn to swim. But it's little stupid to jump on the deep side of the pool also, right? Where there is no return and you just go. So, so it's better to know the pitfalls. So I'm not saying don't try, but it's better to know the pitfalls when you're doing certain processes than going there and then finding out that, oh my God, I can be in trouble. All right. So the first mistake that again a lot of people make is when they go on student visa, especially to US, because Once you graduate, you have 2 to 3 months to find a job and switch to OPT. So a lot of people say, oh, I have a 3-year OPT. It's always a 1-year OPT. STEM program, if you're doing, then there is a STEM extension that you have to apply. There are some people who never got STEM extension. So in 1 year, if you don't get H1B lottery, then you have to come back. Right? So this is one thing. Second, even if, let's say, you get a H1B visa, you're blessed. You're far better than somebody who's on F1, which is student, and you have to come back to India or your own home country. But H1B can also be a little risky because if you lose job, let's say you're working for Google. Google has sponsored your H1. If you lose your job, then what happens? You have to find a job and a company who will sponsor your H1, or else you have to leave America, right? So all the effort, everything that you've made, if you don't get a job switch within those 2 months, you are in trouble. And especially when there is recession time, when all companies are laying off. Tell me how many companies will hire you? They might hire you, but they might not be willing to fight for your H1B. So again, that's a very big pitfall. And, so a lot of people I consult who are living in US and the husband has lost a job and, wife is in tears when I'm doing these online consultations. And we have a child who's born in US, he's an American citizen, and now we might have to go back. And so such issues people face. And again, I help these guys by some very creative legal solutions, but this can be a very, very serious pitfall. Also, a lot of people don't know that H1B is a 3-year visa. You can get one renewal of 3 more years, and after that, you have to leave US for 1 year and then re-enter on a fresh H1B. Okay. A lot of people don't know. They find out again the hard way. So again, for that, if you have filed a green card under the EB2 category, where the employer has to help you with the filing, then in 2 to 3 years, you get something called I-140 approval. After that, you get EAD card. Once you get EAD card, then the US can renew your H1B every 3 years till the time you get a green card. But a lot of times, employer does not support you in filing this green card, and then people lose the time and then they have to come back. Also, the H1B work permit to green card route is like 40 to 50 years. So if today you are 30, 35, 40, and if you think that you'll get a green card, you will, but when you'll be almost 80, all right? So then a lot of people I help who are already on H1B, they are already in the US, they are, they have bought a house, it's been 5-7 years, they have equity in the house, the price has gone up, they take loan against property, and then I help them do the EB5. So after for every 10 applicants for EB5 that I file, 7 of them are already in US on H1B, and they want a quicker green card. So 1.5 years, you get a green card. And if you're on American soil, whether you're on H1 work permit or F1 student visa, if you file while you're on American soil, you get something called adjustment of status in 3 months, which means after 3 months, you're free from any kind of visas. So we call it the synthetic green card. It's not really a green card, but you're free from your H1B, F1, renewals, nothing. And whenever you get the green card, it is. So yes, so this H1B, F1 visa, they have pitfalls because all visas have expiry. If you have not done somebody loses a job, then you lose the visa, right? So, and again, the trouble. So in Dubai, I help a lot of people get to UAE by buying their own visa called a freelance permit. So freelance permit allows you to buy your own visa, go to UAE. You can work in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, wherever in the 7 Emirates legally. And this also allows you to do 2 jobs. If you're on Monday to Friday, you can have 1 job. Saturday, Sunday, you can do another job. So it's a very flexible visa, but a lot of people don't know how to get it. So this is something, again, if you have your own visa, nobody can, even if somebody fires you, you don't have to beg for visas to other countries. So these
typically, what is the investment for a visa of this nature?
Oh, it's like about 30,000 dirham, which is 6 to 7 lakh rupees. So the cost of visa is not as much, but I'm talking of the medical fees. There is a medical checkup, then there is a biometric fee, your visa fee, your Emirates ID. All the fees total put together comes to about that, which is not very expensive, 6-7 lakh rupees, and you have a visa, you can go and work wherever you want in UAE. It's an amazing deal.
Which you've always spoken about is the place where you become a citizen of one of the Caribbean countries and still continue to live in India. Can you tell us a little bit about that, because that's something very interesting Not a lot of people, I'm sure, know about it.
Correct.
And it's something that a lot of people may want to consider. Also, why people opt for it in your experience?
So if you are a foreigner living in India, there are certain different rules applicable. All right. So there are certain advantages, and people come to me for various advantages. And there were 2, 3 couples who are absolute travel freaks, and they're like, we don't like waiting for visas. We travel the world, and we don't want to wait for visas. So if you get a Caribbean country passport, then you have visa-free travel or visa on arrival to over 130 countries. Imagine you just buy a ticket, sit in the plane and go to London. You don't need a visa. Right? Imagine you just buy a ticket, go to Russia or China, where even American passport holders need a visa, but a Caribbean country passport holder doesn't need a visa. So it's a beautiful life, especially if you're a travel freak. So a lot of businessmen, they travel a lot, and for every time there's a conference. Now, see, your leisure trips you can plan 6 months in advance, but business trips are a lot of times. There is an exhibition, I have to go there in 2 weeks, and like US visa, for example, if you apply today, then 2025, 2026, God knows what appointment you get.
Yeah.
Shenzhen, earlier it used to be in 1 or 2 weeks you used to get. Now sometimes it takes 3, 4 months. So these businessmen find it very difficult to get these travel visas. But with a Caribbean passport, entire Shenzhen, Europe, everything is visa free. Literally, you just buy a plane ticket and sit in the plane. So that becomes an amazing hack when it comes to traveling or even for business purpose. In Caribbean, so you can become a citizen of many countries, right? Right now, let's talk about US, for example. US, first you need to spend a few years on student visa, H1, then God knows when you get a green card. After you get the green card, after 5 years, you can apply for citizenship, right? And then whatever time it takes. So you are looking at easily 8, 10, 15 years to get a US citizenship. Similarly, Canada, 5, 7, 10 years to get a Canadian passport. Because again, you have to live there, then on PR, then apply for a passport. Caribbean, on the other hand, is very interesting. You buy a property, you've invested, they give you a passport in 4 to 6 months, direct citizenship. There is no permanent residency, there is no work visa, there is no student visa, nothing. So 4 to 6 months, and they give. And the price point is not very heavy. It's around approximately 300,000 US dollars, in which the property value is about $220,000. 5 years you have to hold the property. After 5 years, you can sell the property and get whatever money back. So then the passport is like barely $80,000. And so the country called Grenada, which is very popular when it comes to these passports. In this, husband, wife, and all unmarried dependent children under 30 get passport. Husband's parents, wife's parents, who are retired and dependent on this couple. Husbands and wives' siblings, who are unmarried and dependent on this. They all can come under one application. Of course, you just have to pay visa fee for everyone, but a whole family can get passport by one single application and one investment in this property. So it's very interesting, and I love doing it. And you can continue living in India on OCI card. So earlier, if somebody would do this, then you needed a visa to come to India and stay. But now OCI is Overseas Citizen of India. Essentially, our dark blue passport switches to a very pretty turquoise blue passport, and you can continue living in India. The only 2 things that you cannot do is you cannot vote and you cannot get into agriculture business. Other than that, you can do everything that you've been doing in India. Do job, do business, do whatever you've been doing.
What about taxation? I mean, there are obviously no taxation for.
So yeah, the taxation is different. So again, the taxation depends on residency and a lot of factors. So frankly, I don't want to get into it because it is a CA kind of a question. But yes, it is definitely a plus because you're still a foreigner living in India. So, but yes, this is a CA kind of question because everyone has a different situation. But there is an advantage for sure.
That because then we get into other areas which is not necessarily related to immigration.
Correct.
Okay, so tell me, what are the kind of people who typically approach you, Deepesh? Because this looks like not something that, let's say, what 85% of Indians would do. I mean, and the normal sorts of thing. So, what are the kind of people who typically come to you? And I'm talking about the ones who come to you for legal.
No. Everyone comes to me for legal only. So, because I'm known for the legal stuff, right? So, frankly, there is no one type because I have got school teachers coming to me, I have got software engineers coming to me, I've got architects who come to me, I've got doctors who come to me, engineers, obviously. So there is no one category or one type of people because I can pretty much help anybody in any situation to get to some country legally, So I cannot really point out. But okay, some very interesting thing that I can share since you asked a very specific question profession-wise is US right now is currently going through an acute teacher crisis. So they have a teacher shortage. I'm working with the state of Texas right now where I can help anybody who has a bachelor's degree who is fluent in English. So they need a US equivalent bachelor's degree fluency in English. And then they have to clear an exam, which is so you can do the training in 3 months, online mode. Fourth one, you can give the exam. The exam happens everywhere in India as well. So once you clear that exam, I can help you get a job as a teacher. And the teacher jobs come under CAP exam category. So again, no H1B lottery. Directly you can get job under H1B. So total process takes like 8 to 10 months and you can fly and you can start a job and a career as a teacher. Even if somebody has never worked as a teacher, we can do this for them. And because first 9 months, everyone will do an internship. It will be full-time salary, nothing less, but they will call it as an internship where you are kind of learning on the job and then you'll become permanent and then there is a lot of chances. So that's an interesting career if somebody has not thought about it, but they still want to get to US by not spending lakhs and crores. So then this can be a relatively inexpensive alternative.
Also, I believe there are a lot of opportunities for nurses and health caregivers as a business, right? I mean, as a category for jobs, especially.
Yes. Again, so medical field when it comes to doctors, nurses, healthcare professionals, huge demand all over the world, including US, UK, Dubai. If you see, I mean, all doctors are Indians only, all nurses are Indians only. So yes, and it's relatively easy to get these people visas because the demand is there, right? See, if you find somebody who is amazing in marketing, marketing genius, there are enough people in US who can be marketing wizards, right? So for to get a H1B sponsor will be not very easy. But somebody who's a software engineer, somebody who's a doctor, somebody who's a dentist. So the demand is tremendous and the supply is limited. So these people will be easily able to get visas and go there.
Okay. So I'll take a question from the community. So there's a few questions which have come from. So there's a question from Raj Vyas. It's a little broad in nature, but I'll still ask because Raj has been kind enough to put it. So he says, what strategies can individuals use to effectively search for a job in a new country? So, I mean, firstly, do you cater to such needs? And if yes, I mean, how does one go about searching for a job?
Sure. So, frankly, I am not in the business of giving jobs to anybody. Right. So, I cannot comment on that. The only thing is, so for example, I talked about the UAE freelance visa, right? So, a lot of companies are not willing to sponsor people visas. Right. So, people are applying to Dubai, but they're not able to get jobs. And the reason the employer spends whatever 25,000 dirham on all these things that I mentioned, the health checkup and the biometric and the visa fee. And let's say you switch the job, they cannot find you, their money is down the drain. So a lot of employers are uncomfortable to spend on sponsoring people. But if you have your own visa, now once you have visa, you get Emirates ID, and Emirates ID makes you resident of UAE. When you send out resumes, you put Emirates ID number in your resume. Now, when a company looks at your resume, they see you are a resident of UAE. They immediately think, oh, I don't have to worry about visa, right? So now getting a job becomes much easier. So these are places where jobs are available, but visas cannot be easily available, right? Similarly, there is a situation where US, if I'm saying over 800,000 people applied for H1B this year, that means so many jobs are available because H1B is not like a tourist visa where you just go online, pay $185 and say, I want an appointment for visa, right? A company has to give you a job, they have to sponsor you, pay the legal fees, and only then your name will be in H1B lottery. So the fact that over 800,000 people applied in the lottery, that means the jobs are available, right? So if you have the right visa, is what my formula is, then getting job becomes quite easy.
So, another question which comes to my mind as a result now is, if say some young person, I mean, he's just maybe finishing his education and is not gone to the US to study, but has long-term plans of moving to the US and settling there. So typically, let's say wants to get in touch with you, what would be the time frame that such people should have, before they actually begin this whole process? So and that includes the time they will give you to consult them and give them. So what is the time frame that one needs to have in mind? But I'm
So,
sure a lot of people come to you at the last minute, virtually the last minute, right?
So, because I don't do admissions, student admissions, then there's no last minute, right? Anybody who comes to me and they want to become a teacher, I can start the program anytime, and once they are done, they can go. So there's no fire, especially in what I do.
Okay.
The deadlines and all these issues are for education consultants, where the students have to adhere with certain deadlines and make sure that everything happens like clockwork. But with what I do, typically there is no deadline.
No. Okay.
Now, as I told you, in the teacher program, it takes about 8 to 10 months for people to finish everything, get H1B, and then fly to US, right? So similarly, EB5 I already talked about, 1.5 to 2 years to get a green card. UAE, the residency comes in, you get the entry permit in 2 to 3 weeks literally, and you can fly to UAE. So similarly, every country has different rules, different laws. Canada, I do a lot of. So Canada again, I of course spoke about the point-based system, which is they are demanding very high. But
Absolutely.
Canada is a very interesting way of getting to like a guaranteed PR way, where under the startup visa program, we can help you set up a company and register it as startup, and then there are certain bodies that are recognized by Canadian government, and you have to present your business plan to them. And if they approve that, yes, this is a brilliant business, it comes under the startup category, then in 8 to 10 months, you fly to Canada on a business visa. You're supposed to set up this company,
Right.
and in 2.5 years, you get PR. So again, in this, there is no point-based system, there is no way it can happen like clockwork. And it is not as expensive as the US green card. I think the total cost is between 150 to 250,000 Canadian dollars, which is about less than a crore to a crore and a half. So a lot of Indians can really manage this if they want to get to Canada. So yes, time frame varies, but it could be as quick as 3-4 months to like 2 to 3 weeks in case of Dubai, of course.
And 2 to 3 years. Okay, so there's a question from somebody who shares his surname with you. So there is a question from Vinod Deshmukh.
Okay.
So the question is, what are the key factors to consider when determining the most suitable visa category for my family and me?
Okay. So the first and most important factor is your surname is Deshmukh. So you qualify.
Okay.
So again, it's a very complicated, there is no, I wish I could give you, this country or that country or this visa or that visa, right? So it will depend on the situation. And for that, we do paid consultations and we understand the situation of an individual. And then based on that, we will recommend, because I don't have one box that I'm selling to everyone, right? So a lot of times age matters, the kid's age matter, whether the child is under 18, over 18, under 20 or about 21, and so many things, right? So I wish I can just answer your question in as simple way as you asked me. But yes, you being a Deshmukh, you qualify for sure.
You qualify. Okay, so we'll do one thing, just for the benefit of people who have taken, the effort to join us. After this conversation, Deepesh, if you could share your contact email ID and your phone number if you are open to it. I'll share it on the community. So, if people want to reach out to you directly, they can do that. So that, individual, a lot of the queries which are coming are fairly individual in nature, in the sense that, more suited to their specific requirement. I'll still ask this question. Sarah Malik has asked this question. What advice do you have for maintaining a work-life balance while adjusting to a new environment? I know it's not directly in your domain, but having met so many people, I'm sure you have some experience, and maybe you can help with this. Yeah.
So See, work-life balance is very important and we all want it and crave for it. In India, if you're having a job and if you can leave your job at 5 or 6 p.m. and walk out without, bothering about your boss.
8 p.m. for Mumbai.
Yeah.
8 p.m.
So if it's Mumbai, then you'll get take 2 hours to reach home. That's a different problem. But like US, I worked there and it was amazing. Like Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. 5:30, the office is empty. So in India, unfortunately, evening ke baad people start working to show the boss that how hard I'm working and I'm sitting till late. In US, it is looked down upon. They feel the 8-10 hours that are assigned to you, they are not enough. And that's why you're sitting late, right? So it really depends on the culture of the company that you are part of. And a lot of companies, American companies in India are also following that. That, whatever 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and employees leave, you can continue working the next day. So it is very important for you to figure your environment. And I really hope you have a nice boss if you're working. And if you are the boss, because I call myself unemployable. Okay? I mean, nobody can employ me, right? So, but yes, if you can, please focus on work-life balance because that is what we need, right? Family time, friends, party, all that.
Super. So I knew that you would be able to answer it, but since it was not part of immigration, I was a little careful to ask you.
No, very much part. You go to US, you get work-life balance. I'll send you.
Okay, that was a good one. Aja, so now we'll come to the main reason why why you are on this podcast is business networking.
Okay.
And you are a ace networker yourself. You've been. So can you tell me what business networking means to you, and how has it helped you in your career so far, in your business so far? And, if you can just touch upon that.
So I feel networking is an integral part of human life. It has nothing to do with business networking because if somebody wants a good job, even they need to network and meet people who can help them find jobs. Of course, when we need new leads, new referrals, and without networking, if I'm just sitting in my office, I don't think that's the right way to do business.
Right.
So networking is very important. But the way I look at networking is very different than most of the people. So let me just take you back when I was doing MBA in the US. In my first semester, the university prints visiting cards in each of our students' names and gives us the boxes. And I'm like, what? It says Deepesh Deshmukh, Clark University, MBA class of 2000. It was 1999.
Right.
Okay. So they put the graduation date and they say, okay, now you need to network. And we are like, what? I mean, do what?
Okay.
But during our MBA days, we were trained, sent to trade fairs, sent to different talks. And that's where we would give our card, and it was scary initially, and then eventually it became a part of our lives. And I think I'm really blessed to have learned it this way. So now it has become a nature where, I love to meet people, but I don't network with an intention of doing this. Because the moment you do that, you feel sorry, you feel sad, because a lot of people, they go to a networking event or any event and they say, oh, today I got so many business cards. That's not the intention of networking. The idea is if I meet 20 people, I might connect with 1 or 2 people. But that 1 or 2 are way more important than the 20, 50 visiting cards that somebody goes and collects.
Correct.
So that's one thing. So I focus on connecting with just a couple of people in that one evening or whatever event I'm part of. Second, I network with no expectation. So I don't promise myself that, oh, I need business from this organization, this event. I travel to a lot of countries. I go to Dubai almost every month. Next week, I'm going to Africa. Frankly, I have no idea what I'm going to go and do there. There are a couple of events I'm invited to. I have nothing to do with Africa. First time I'm going. But I'm only going worst case what? I'll meet a few people, I'll make some friends, and I'll come back. So I have that kind of an open mind when it comes to networking. And trust me, when you figure this part out, you feel very happy, blessed. Because then you make friends, right? So.
Super. So you're part of a networking organization. We both are actually, BNI. So how's been your journey with BNI? You actually been part of the chapter leadership team also. Yeah. So can you walk us through your experience in BNI? Because a lot of questions which come to us later is, what do you think we should do about BNI? I, of course, share with them my experience. So I would love to know more about your experience and, how has
So,
it been so far?
so I mean, it has been a fun journey, and I'm a fun person. Okay, so wherever I go, I have fun.
Yeah.
And but yes, BNI is a very what do you call organized way of networking, right? It is a networking organization or a referral organization.
Correct.
And what I really liked about this organization is people go out of the way to find people for you. It's like if my chapter has about 150 people, I have 149 sales people working for me.
Right.
That doesn't happen anywhere. Of course, I know some more forums where this happens, but BNI is a much larger organization and it happens in a very, very structured way. So that's really something nice about BNI. Some people don't like BNI because they say it's like school and attendance. But you know what? Out of sight is out of mind. If you don't go to an organization and show your face, nobody will remember you. And I'm a part of some other organizations where there is most of the organizations the attendance is not compulsory. People go 2, 3, 4 times and then whole year they don't go. When it comes to renewing your membership, they say, "Oh, I didn't get any business." Boss, you were never there. Nobody knows you. Just because you paid money to an organization, that doesn't earn you right to get a business, right? So what BNI does is it trains you in a way where you're always surrounded by good people with similar mindsets,
Right.
and a lot of opportunities are available. And yes, I was blessed to be on the LT team and serve as a president very early in my BNI journey.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun doing that as well. And I hope you enjoyed while
Well,
I was.
I must say, I mean, and I've said, I told you this before, and I have no problem saying it openly. I mean, I totally enjoyed your term as president. I mean, you kept the meeting extremely lively and fun, and I think that's very important. Having fun while doing networking. So you are also networking with. I mean, you are a part of Indo-American Chamber of Commerce and IBG. So how is it? I mean, and they are, I mean, also superb organizations. And how is it different? Let's say with BNI versus, Indo-American Chamber. Although I don't want to compare it, but I'm just trying to
You
see
can't
the
compare
experience.
because if you compare, then BNI will sound like a school.
No, that's okay. I mean, I know we can't compare, but I'm saying
Yeah.
how is it different?
I will
from that?
differentiate. Yes. So, for example, Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, right? So, Indian companies who want to do business or who are doing business with the US, or American companies who want to do business in India, they are our members. We have East, West, North, South. It's a huge chamber, more than 55-year-old, and a huge member base. And who's who of the industry are a part of our organization. So yes, that's a very different way of networking. A lot of times you get to meet with, in their events, you get to meet with people from US government, US consulate and stuff like that. IBG is an absolute fun chamber. I mean, I am the member for the last 11 years, since the time their inception. First 2 or 3 meetings I must not be there. But you go to any IBG event and easily 2 or 3 country council generals you will be able to meet in their networking events. So that's a fantastic way of networking and opening up your international network. So from that angle, IBG is extremely strong. I think they have MOUs with over 100 different chambers all over the world. So you as a business owner can easily reach out to so many countries and explore your business opportunities. So yes, all chambers are different, all organizations are different, and I'm blessed to be a part of some very nice organizations. And the most important part is learn to have fun and don't be boring. And
okay, so the last question. I mean, we are almost coming to the end of the hour. So, what would be your advice, Deepesh, to people who are, let's say, starting out in their business, or people who are keen to do networking but have never tried it, but they know at the back of their mind, somebody's been telling them ki networking karo. So what would be your your advice to these people, having been a networker yourself for so many years,
yes,
and having seen different sorts of networking organizations?
sure.
So what is your advice?
So my advice is definitely that they should be a part of some networking organization or a chamber of commerce. And again, BNI is a great place to start because it's a very structured way of networking, and you're taught, and a lot of trainings happen in BNI where professionals train you on how to talk, how to give your elevator pitch, how to introduce yourself, how to give a
Right.
presentation, how to create a presentation. So it's a fabulous like university, and the fees are relatively very, very low. So I think a lot of businessmen who are starting off, this is a great way to start. If you have anything to do with US, if you want to get any business done with US companies, then again Indo-American Chamber of Commerce is a fabulous organization. And IBG, of course, it's like home to me, and I would love to invite you guys
Sure.
for a session. As a non-member, you can come and experience an event, and so yes, but please be a part of some organization and force yourself initially, because like if you don't know how to swim and if you step into the pool, you're going to be shit scared. But unless you step in the pool, you will never ever learn to swim, right? So just jump in.
Super. That's it's exactly 4 o'clock, Deepesh, and thanks for being so open about all the points that we spoke of. I'm sure there's a lot more about immigration, and there's a lot more about networking which we haven't been able to touch. I just wanted to give a flavor of what you do. As I said, if you can share your contact numbers, if you want to say it aloud, you can say it right
I
now.
will share my office phone number, because
Sure.
then somebody
Yeah.
from my
So,
staff can handle and set up an appointment. Because
so if you can say that now on so that then they can.
So the phone number is 82919 24600. So, and then
Yeah.
you can email it to hello, hello at dsquare.global.
I'll share this on the community as well.
Yes.
And all those who would like to get in touch with Deepesh's office can do that. And yeah, I mean, I love what he said. He said networking is all about having fun and, not be boring. And, he's a good example of how not to be boring, and how, you can, as a result, be attractive to people. People will get attracted to you, and then they'll come and do business with you. And it's an art which you can learn if you don't have it naturally. And I mean, if you're there in it, you can learn it. And Deepesh is a great example of that, and a great leader, great friend. Thank you very much, Deepesh, for sparing the time. Obviously, we'll meet again very soon, and until then, have a nice day and good luck.
Thank you so much, Vipul. Thank you for having me, and you're a dear friend. And it's always fun to spend time with you. And thanks for having me here on this platform. I feel blessed. And thank you, guys. It was really nice talking to you. And I would love to meet you guys. Take care.